The contents covered in this session are the introduction to the X-rays, CT scanning, and that is modern imaging system. That is introduction, X-rays properties, construction of stationary anode extrude tube, and then X-ray imaging machine, and applications, advantages and disadvantages of X-rays, computed tomography, that is CT scanning, and the basic principle of this computed tomography, and the techniques of producing CT images. Okay, so let's start with the introduction. So now start with the introduction. So the medical imaging or medical imaging system is the technique and process of creating visual representation of the interior of the body for the clinical analysis and medical intervention. So as well as a visual representation of the functions of some organs or tissues, that you can say the physiology. Okay, so the medical imaging seeks to reveal internal structure hidden by skin and bones, as well as to diagnose and treat the diseases. Medical imaging also establish a database of normal anatomy and physiology to make it possible to identify abnormalities. Okay, although imaging of removed organs and tissues can be performed for medical reasons, such as procedures are usually considered part of pathology instead of medical imaging. So as a discipline and in its widest sense, this medical imaging is a part of biological imaging and incorporates radiology, okay, which uses the imaging technologies of X-rays, radiography, magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, ultrasound, endoscopy, elastography, thermography, medical photography, and nuclear medical functioning imaging techniques, etc. is used. Okay, so the measurements and recording techniques that are primarily designed to produce images such as EEG, that is electroencephalography, ECG, that is electrocardiography, and others, okay, represents that other technologies that produce a data susceptible to represent as a parameter graph versus time, or you can say simply a maps. Okay, that map contains data about measurements, locations. Okay, in a limited comparison, these technologies can be considered forms of medical imaging in another disciplines. So you can say that there is different types in these medical imaging systems. Okay, in this clinical context, invisible light medical imaging is generally equated to the radiology or clinical imaging, and a medical practitioner responsible for interpreting the images is the radiologist. Okay, the visible light medical imaging involves the digital video or still pictures that can be seen without a special equipment. Okay, dermatology and wound care are the two modalities that use the visible light imagery. Okay, diagnostic radiography designates the technical aspects of the medical imaging, and in particular the acquisition of medical images. Okay, as a field of scientific investigation, medical imaging constitute a subdiscipline of biomedical engineering, that is medical physics or a medicine, depending on the context. Okay, research and development in the area of instrumentation, medical imaging, that is radiography, is the modeling and quantification are usually the preserve of biomedical engineering, medical physics and computer science. Okay, so the research into application and interpretation of medical images are usually the preserve of radiology and medical subdisciplines relevant to the medical conditions of area of medical science. Okay, under the investigation, many of the techniques developed for the medical images also have scientific and industrial applications. Okay, so this is a introduction. So now we start to study discuss the next concept, that is X-ray properties. So before going to X-ray properties, so just try to study the history of this X-ray. X-rays were discovered by a German physicist, Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen, in the November 1895. He called new kind of rays called as X-rays, or X, it stands for the unknown rays. Okay, with these new rays he could be able to make the photograph of his wife. Okay, so the same technology now we are using in this modern imaging system. Okay, today imaging with X-rays is perhaps the most commonly used diagnostic tool with the medical professions, and and the techniques for the simple chest radiography to the digital subtraction angiography or computer tomography depends on the X-rays. Okay, so this is brief history. So now start with the properties of the X-ray. Okay, so as we know, because these X-rays are having a shorter wavelength and extremely high energy. Okay, so because of this shorter wavelength and extremely high energy, X-rays are able to penetrate through the materials which readily absorb and reflect the visible light. Okay, this forms the basis for the use of X-rays for the radiography and even for their potential danger. Okay, X-rays are absorbed when passing through a matter. Okay, the extent of absorption depends upon the density of the matter. Okay, so next property, X-rays produce secondary radiation in all matter through which they pass. Okay, this secondary radiations is composed of scattered radiation, which is a characteristics radiation on electrons. Okay, in a diagnostic radiology, it is scattered radiation which is of a practical importance. Okay, so these X-rays produce an ionization in gases and influences the electric properties of liquids and solids. Okay, the ionizing property is made use of in the construction and radiation measuring instrument. Okay, so the next property is X-rays also produce a fluorescence in the certain materials to help them emit light. Okay, fluoroscopic screens and intensifying screens have been constructed on the basis of this property. Okay, so these X-rays affect the photographic film in the same way or ordinary visible light affect. Okay, so these are some of the properties of X-rays. Okay, so next we study that is how this that the construction of stationary anode X-ray tube which is used to produce the X-rays. Okay, so in this on the slide you can see there is a one block diagram that is a construction of stationary anode X-ray tube. Okay, so before studying the construction, first we should know what is this, why this anode we have to study. So this anode X-ray tube is simply used to produce the X-rays. Okay, X-rays are produced whenever electrons collide at very high speed with the matter and are thus suddenly stopped. Okay, this is the basic funda of production of X-rays. That is, X-rays are produced whenever electrons collide at a very high speed with a matter and thus they are suddenly stopped. In that case, X-rays are produced. Okay, the energy processed by the electrons appears from the site of collision as a parcel of energy in the form of highly penetrating electromagnetic waves, which are known as X-rays. Okay, which are of different wavelengths, which together form a continuous spectrum. Okay, these X-rays produced in a specially constructed glass tube, which basically comprise of, as you can see on the diagram, a source for the production of electrons, and second one a energy source to accelerate electrons, and a free electron path, and fourth one a means of focusing electron beam, and finally a device to stop electrons. Okay, so how this exactly work we'll study. As you can see in the diagram that shows a basic component of stationary X-ray anode tube. The normal tube is a vacuum diode in which electrodes are generated by thermoionic emission from a filament of the tube. The electron stream is electrostatically focused on a target on the anode by means of a suitable shaped cathode cup. Okay, the kinetic energy of the electrons imaging on the target is converted into X-rays. Okay, most of the electrons emitted by a hot filament become current carriers across the tube. It is therefore possible to independently set and to produce the X-rays. Okay, so this is the construction of our stationary anode X-ray tube. Okay, so now moving to the next concept, that is X-ray imaging machine. How X-ray imaging machine is constructed and how it works. Okay, as on diagram you are seeing block diagram for the X-ray machine. That figure shows a basic block diagram of basic X-ray machine subsystems. Okay, as you can see on the in the diagram or in the slide, basically there are two parts of the circuit. One of them is for producing a high voltage, which is applied to the tube's anode and cathode, and comprises a high voltage step up transformer followed by a rectification. Okay, the current through the tube follows the high tension pathway and is measured by an milliampere meter. Okay, a kilovolt selector which facilitates change in the voltage between the exposure. Okay, the voltage is measured with the help of a kilovolt meter. Okay, the exposure switch controls the timer and thus the duration of the applications of kilovolt. Okay, to compensate for the main supply voltage, which is, you can see, the 230 volts variation. Okay, the voltage compensator is included in the circuit. Now the second part of the circuit concerns the control of heating of X-ray tube filament. The filament is heated with 6 to 12 volt voltage of AC supply at a current rate of 3 to 5 amperes. Okay, now the filament temperature determines the tube current or milliampere, and therefore the filament temperature control has an attached milliampere selector. Okay, the filament current is controlled by using in the primary side of the filament transformer and a variable choke, or you can say choke is also called as a rheostat. You can also use the rheostat. Okay, that rheostat, what it will, that rheostat provides a stepwise control of milliampere and is most commonly used in modern machines, in all modern machines. Okay, so a prepared method of providing a high voltage DC to the anode of the X-ray tube is by the use of bridge rectifier using a 4-valve tubes or a solid state rectifiers. Okay, this results in a much more efficient system than the Hop wave of self rectification methods. Okay, so this is how our X-ray machine will works. So I hope this concept is clear. So move to the next concept, that is, what are the applications, advantages and disadvantages of the X-rays. So as we know, X-rays are electromagnetic radiations which have a wavelength shorter than ultraviolet rays but longer than the gamma rays. Okay, these hard X-rays are commonly used to take an image, that is radiographic images, you can see, because they are able to penetrate solid objects like our bodies. Okay, so as you can see on the slide, I have listed some of the advantages and disadvantages of these X-rays. So obviously, advantages, the X-rays are used to treat the malign tumors before it spread throughout the human body. That is the first advantage. Second one is these X-rays help radiologists to identify the cracks, infections, injuries and abnormals of bones. Okay, and these X-rays are also help in identifying the bone cancer. Okay, and these X-rays help in the locating alien objects inside the bones or around them. Okay, so these are the some of the advantages. Okay, so these X-rays are also having some of the disadvantages. As I listed, you can see the first one, the X-rays make our blood cells to have a higher level of hydrogen peroxide, which could cause cell damage. Okay, whenever the X-rays is passed, okay, there is a higher level of hydrogen peroxide which damage the cells. Okay, next, there is a higher risk of getting cancer from the X-rays. If more X-rays are penetrating than usual, then there may be a chance of getting a cancers. Okay, and the next disadvantage, the X-rays are able to change the base of the DNA, causing the mutations. Okay, so these are the some of the disadvantages. Okay, so these are the advantages and disadvantages. Obviously, the applications of these X-rays are used in the medical field to treat the brain tumors, to identify the fractures, to identify different radio images, etc. Okay, rather than this, these X-rays are also used in the industries also. Okay, so this is about the applications, advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so moving to the next concept, tomography, that is computer tomography, that you can say the CT scanning. Okay, so before moving to that, first we should know what is tomography. Tomography is a term that is derived from the Greek word tomos, meaning is to write a slice or a section, and is well understood in radiographic circles. Okay, so conventional tomography was developed to reduce the superimposition effect of simple radiographs. In this arrangement, the X-ray tube and photographic film are moved in synchronization so that one plane of the patient under examination remains in focus while all other planes are blurred. Okay, in computed tomography, the picture is made by viewing the patient via X-ray imaging from numerous angles. Okay, so by mathematically reconstructing the detailed structures and displaying the reconstructed images on video monitor. Okay, so the early CT scanners were specially designed for neuroradiological investigations. So this computer tomography enabled radiologists to distinguish for the first time difference between types of brain tissues, and even the differentiate between the normal and coagulated blood. Okay, with the CT images, radiologists could easily visualize the ventricles of brain and repositories of the cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, so this capability made obsolete a rather unpleasant procedure known as pneumoencephalography. Okay, in which air is pumped into the ventricles to displace the fluid and provide a radiographic contrast. So the desirability of having a body scanner was soon realized. Okay, so the examination of the body section, however, represents a widely differing problems. Okay, some of these problems include the movement of organs, the patient's repository actions. So this is the basic introduction to this computer tomography. So now let's study what is the basic principle of this computer tomography. So moving to the next slide. So the basic principle of this computer tomography differs from conventional X-ray techniques in that the picture displayed are not photographs but are reconstructed from a large number of absorption profiles taken at the regular angular intervals around a slice, with each profile being made up from a parallel set of absorption values through that object. Okay, in computed tomography, X-rays from finely collimated source are made to pass through a slice of the object or a patient from variety of directions. Okay, for directions along which the path length through the tissue is longer, fewer X-rays are transmitted as compared to the directions where there is a less tissue attenuating the X-ray beam. Okay, so in addition to a length of the tissue traverse, structures in the patients such as bone may attenuate X-rays more than similar volume of less dense soft tissue. Okay, in principle, computer tomography involves the determination of attenuation characteristics for each small volume of tissues in the patient slice. Okay, in the patient slice, which constitute the transmitted radiation intensity recorded from various irradiation directions. It is these calculated tissues attenuating characteristics then actually compose the CT images. Okay, so this is the basic principle how this CT scanning works. Okay, so now let's study what is the technique for producing the CT images. Okay, so as you can see in the diagram, there is a technique of producing the CT images. Okay, so as in a diagram, as you can see in a diagram, the X-ray tube and the detectors are rigidly coupled to each other, and the system execute translational and rotational movement and transradiates the patients from various angular projections. Okay, with the aid of collimators, pencil thin beam of X-ray is produced. Okay, a detector converts X radiations into electrical signals. Okay, measuring electronic then amplify the electrical signals and convert them into a digital values. Okay, A computer then processes these values and computes them into a matrix lines density distribution pattern, which is reproduced on a video monitor as a pattern of gray shade. Okay, so I hope all the concepts covered in this unit are clear for you. Thank you.